Hello and welcome to our tutorial where we are going to dive into building a modern navbar using Next.js 14.1.0 and Tailwind CSS. Our goal today is to guide you through the creation of a responsive and stylish navigation bar that will enhance the user interface of any web project you are working on. We will leverage the latest features of Next.js along with the utility-first styling approach of Tailwind CSS to achieve a professional-looking navbar. By the end of this tutorial, you will have a fully functional navbar that's both responsive and adaptable to different screen sizes. We will explore how to integrate Tailwind CSS with Next.js, make use of new app directory structure in Next.js 14, and apply best practices for web development. Before we jump in, let's make sure you are ready to follow along. You should have a basic understanding of Next.js and React concepts such as components and props, as well as familiarity with Tailwind CSS for styling. If you are new to any of these, I recommend brushing up on the basics of Next.js through their official documentation or tutorials. Let's get started by setting up our Next.js project. So open your terminal and run the command to create Next.js project using the create next app tool. So let's do that. Here I will type npx create next app at latest and give it the name of the project, Navbar, press enter. Okay, now it is asking, do you want TypeScript? I would recommend yes, and yes, and yes, obviously we want to use Tailwind CSS, so keep it selected. And yes, I want to use source directory, and yes, I want to use app router, which is also recommended by Next.js. Okay, just press enter. Okay, now it is installing. So this will create a new Next.js project named Navbar with TypeScript support out of the box. Alright, so it is installed. Now let's open it in. Let's go to that folder. Okay, now let's open it in VS Code. That is my editor in this case. Alright, now we have the Next.js installed and open in the VS Code editor, and you can see we also have the app directory. This new structure allows us to organize our files more intuitively. Inside the app directory, you will place your page components, layouts, and modules, making it easier to manage your application structure. And thanks to the Next.js CLI that we use to install the Next.js project, the Tailwind CSS is already integrated into our project. This setup saves us time and lets us dive straight into styling without the hassle of manual configuration. Let's quickly talk about the benefits of Tailwind CSS. Tailwind CSS is a utility-first CSS framework that allows us to style our apps directly in the markup. This approach speeds up the development process, ensures consistency in design, and makes it incredibly easy to build responsive designs with minimal effort. With our Next.js setup and Tailwind CSS ready to go, we are perfectly positioned to start building our navbar. Next, we will dive into creating the navbar component and styling it with Tailwind CSS. Now that our project is set up with Next.js and Tailwind CSS, it's time to create our navbar component. We will be utilizing the new app directory structure introduced in Next.js 14, which helps us in organizing our components and pages efficiently. Let's begin by creating our navbar component. So navigate to the app directory in your project, and here create a new folder called components to keep our UI components organized. Inside that folder, create a file named navbar.tsx. This is where we will write our navbar component. Okay, now let's import the link from next/link, and now I will export my navbar component. So this is the basic structure. Let me quickly add some styling. Class name, and here I will add bg-gray-800 text-white p-4. Okay, next. Let me just get rid of all of this. Okay, here I will add a div container mx auto flex justify between items center, and within that we need an a tag that will have classes text to Excel, font bold, and after that we need a div that will further have a link, and that link will have an a tag that will have mx-2 class. Press enter. Okay, we have the structure ready. All right, now here in the a tag I will type my logo, stack. I think we don't need the a tag here because we have the link tag, that will be sufficient. Okay, and here I will add slash, and within the link tag let me add the text home. Okay, great. Now I can copy paste it to add more links. This is the about and this is the contact, and let me add the path for the about page and contact page. All right, so in this code we are using Next.js link component for navigation, ensuring client-side transitions between pages for a faster user experience. We style our navbar using Tailwind CSS classes for background, text color, padding, and flexbox layout. BG Gray 800 gives us a dark background, text white makes the text color white, and P-4 adds the padding. So the container, MX Auto, Flex, Justify Between, and Item Center classes helps us lay out the navbar content. The app directory structure offers a more intuitive way to organize our files. By placing our navbar components inside the components folder, we make it clear that this piece of UI is reusable across different parts of our application. It simplifies the maintenance and scalability of our project, making it easier for developers to navigate and understand the project structure. With our navbar component created and explained, we are one step closer to having a functional and stylish navigation system in our Next.js application. Next, we will dive into styling our navbar using Tailwind CSS to make it visually appealing and responsive. Now that our navbar component setup, it's time to give it some style. Styling plays a crucial role in creating an attractive and intuitive user interface. With Tailwind CSS, we can apply styling directly in our JSX using utility classes, making the process efficient and modular. Tailwind CSS offers a vast variety of utility classes that allow us to style our components with ease. We have already applied some basic styles in our navbar component, such as background color, text color, and padding. So let's enhance our navbar's design and make it responsive using Tailwind's utility classes. So here we have text white, P4, and after that I will add additional classes sm::p-4. This is to make it responsive. MD flex and MD justify between, and MD items center. All right, and in these let me select all of these, and here I will add an additional class. On hover I want to change the text gray to 300 shade. Okay, so in this updated code we have introduced the responsive design principles using Tailwind's built-in breakpoints. For example, sm::p-4, actually this should be p6. So sm::p-6 applies the padding at the sm breakpoint and above, making the navbar larger on bigger screens. The MD Flex class reveals the navigation links on medium screens and larger while hidden. So here I will have to add another class name hidden MD Flex. So the hidden keeps them concealed on smaller devices. We have also added a hover effect to our links with hover: text-gray-300, which changes the text color on the mouse over, enhancing the user interaction experience. Responsive design is essential in modern web development. With Tailwind CSS, implementing responsive design is straightforward thanks to its mobile-first approach and predefined breakpoints. This ensures our navbar looks great on devices of all sizes, from smartphones to desktops. With our navbar now styled and responsive, we have taken a significant step in improving our application's aesthetics and usability. Tailwind CSS utility first approach has allowed us to achieve this with minimal fuss. Next, we will look at making our navbar interactive by adding a drop-down menu for smaller screens. But before that, let us include this navbar in our page.tsx. And before even further that, we need to run the project. So for that, run the command npm run dev. Okay, now let's open this URL in the browser. First time it will take some time to compile it. Once it is done, you will see it. Okay, it is working now. Let me delete all of the code created by the Next.js CLI, and here I will add the navbar that we just created. So okay, I have imported the navbar. So now let's see. You can see that my navbar is working and looking very good. So in any web application, navigation between pages is fundamental. Next.js simplifies this process with the link component, making client-side routing easy and efficient. To link to different pages within our app, we wrap the text or element that should act as the link in the link component from Next.js. So this component prevents the default browser reload, enabling faster navigation. And with the app directory structure in Next.js, organizing and managing routes has become more intuitive. Placing our pages inside the app directory and using the link component allows Next.js to automatically handle routing without additional configuration, simplifying the development process. Okay, now let's quickly test it in smaller screen. You can see it is being hidden when you're in the smaller screen. So as screen sizes vary, our navbar must adopt. We will enhance our navbar by adding a responsive hamburger menu for smaller screens using Tailwind CSS. First, we need to add a button for toggling the menu on mobile devices. So this button will only be visible on small screens. So we will manage its state using React's use state hook to show or hide the navigation links. So now let's go back to our navbar component, and here I will add another div with the classes md hidden flex item dash center, and within that I need a button, and within that button I need an svg. I will copy that SVG from internet, so let's just enter it for now. All right, now in that button let's add a click event on click, and I will call a function on click that will call a function set is open. So this is basically a function that will come from the use state that I will add on the top. So let's add it first. I will add const is open and set is open from the use state. So let's import the use state from the React, and default value is false. Now whenever somebody clicks on this hamburger menu or button, we will update the value of the is open state, and here I will pass the opposite or reverse value of is open. So if it is false, then we will pass the true, and if it is true, then we will pass the false. Now we need to add the svg for the hamburger menu. Okay, now we have an error. It is saying that you are importing a component that needs use state. It only works in a client component, but none of its parents are marked with the use client. So they are server components by default. So to make them client component, you need to add use client on the top like this. Save it. All right, the issue has been resolved. Now you can see that this is a small screen, and if I click on that, the nav icon becomes the cross icon. It is happening because we are saving the state. Okay, next we conditionally render our navigation links based on is open state. This ensures that the links are shown while menu is toggled on mobile devices. So let's do that. Here I will use the JavaScript instead of plain string, and here I will add backticks, and here I will use is open. If it is true, then use flex. If not, then use the hidden class, and after that I will add flex call by default and md flex row. Save it. All right, now go to the mobile version, click on that, and you can see that menu is visible. We can make it better in the mobile view. So right now this does not look good, so let's see what it should look like when it is in the smaller screen size. So actually let me open it on the right side, and let's turn on the mobile view here. Okay, so this is the container that has the logo, and this is the menu container. So here we may add flex direction column, I guess, to show it in the vertical direction like that in the mobile view. Or the second approach is that we can use position absolute for it like that, and top should be 50 pixels or maybe 80 pixels, Okay, and we can add a background color here. Let me pick the background color. Okay, now I can add a width 100%, left should be 0, and let me reduce this top to 60. Okay, that's fine. I want to add some padding top, 20 pixels, and padding left should be 20 pixels, and display flex and gap should be 10 pixels or maybe 20 pixels. I think 15 pixels should be fine, and padding bottom should be 20 pixels. Okay, that is looking great. So these are all of the style that we need to add through the Tailwind CSS, and these should be added based on condition. Okay, so now I will create a new variable. Actually, I will create a state to preserve my classes. Now I will create a new variable, const menu classes, and by default it is empty class, and we will update these classes based on the isOpen state. So for that I will use the use effect, and let's import the use effect from the Next.js, and here I will need to add a dependency on the isOpen. And now I will add two conditions. Let me remove this. So if is opened, then we need to add flex class, and so first of all we need to make it empty, so whenever this is changes, so it is constant. Let me make it variable or let. Okay, now we need to add the hidden class if it is false. Actually, let's remove it. Okay, now we will add the other classes that we wanted to add. Okay, so let's add these styles through Tailwind CSS classes. So actually you can, instead of pushing, I can simply replace with a list of new values, flex, and then we need absolute, and then we need top 0. Actually top should be 60. I don't know if 60 is available, so let me check. Yes, 60 is available in Tailwind CSS, so let's use this. And actually I want in pixels, so if you want to specify a custom value, you can use this syntax for Tailwind CSS. And next I need background, or actually BG gray 800, and then we need padding left and width full. Obviously we need padding of around 20, I guess. I don't know if 20 is available, so let's check. Yes, 20 is available. So this will add padding on 4 sides. I need a gap, and then we need, I think that's all. Now save it. So I am getting this kind of error that assignments to the menu classes variable from the inside React hook effect use effect will be lost after each render. To preserve the value over time, store it in a useref hook and keep the mutable value in the current property. Otherwise you can move this variable directly inside the use effect. Alright, so we may have to change it a little bit. So instead of using use effect, we can create a function get menu. Let me write function get menu classes. Okay, and we don't need to have this variable here now, and I will move it in the function, and at the end we will simply return that by joining all of the classes to make it a single string. Okay, now we can use this function to populate our classes here. So here let me just get rid of all of this and call that function. So this will get all of the classes that we want. Now let's test it. We need to add flex column class as well. Okay, there is too much padding around it, so let me reduce it to 10, I guess, and left 0 should be added. Okay, and padding is still too much, so let me add maybe 6 or 8 or 4. Okay, that's fine. You can play around that to make it better. So now you can see that it is working perfectly fine. The cross button appears and it hides and show. For a consistent user interface, our navbar should be present on all pages. So Next.js makes this easy with the concept of layout component that wraps around our project content. So we already have a layout.tsx file that is created and is there. So this component should include our navbar and any other elements we want to be shared across every page. So here, before the children, I will add navbar like that, save it, and now you can see we have two navbar because one is coming from here and second one is coming from the page. So I will get rid of this from the page and I will return a div hello world. Okay, so the layout component acts as a wrapper for our pages. By importing and using this component in our pages, we ensure that navbar is included on every page, providing a seamless navigation experience for users. By integrating the navbar across pages using layout component, we maintain consistency and enhance the user experience. Our application is responsive and has stylish navbar that's accessible on every page thanks to combined power of Next.js and Tailwind CSS. I just realized that I made a mistake here, that in the desktop view the navigation is not visible, so we have to fix that. So let's go back to the code, and here we are just making it hidden, but it should not be hidden at all if you are in the desktop view. So let's say let's check what it should be in the desktop mode. So I will disable it and let's find it out. So here this has the hidden class on it right now. So if we remove the hidden class, then this is how it will look. So we need to add basically two classes. One is hidden and second one should be empty flex. Okay, so from the medium screen and above, it will add the display flex instead of hidden. So let's save it and reload it. You can see now it is available, and in the mobile view it will be invisible, hidden, and it will be visible only if you click on the cross button. Okay. As we wrap up, let's briefly touch on some advanced styling techniques with Tailwind CSS. Tailwind allows for customization with your tailwind.config.js file, enabling you to extend its default theme with your own colors, fonts, breakpoints. This flexibility lets you maintain a consistent design language across your projects. Accessibility and SEO are crucial for modern web applications. Next.js and Tailwind CSS both encourage best practices that enhance your site accessibility and search engine ranking. Use semantic HTML elements and Tailwind's screen reader utilities to improve accessibility. For SEO, leverage Next.js built-in support for meta tags and dynamic routing to ensure your content is easily discoverable. In this tutorial, we have covered how to create a modern responsive navbar using Next.js 14.1.0 and Tailwind CSS. We started with setting up our project, then moved on to creating the navbar component, styling it for responsiveness, and ensuring it appears across all pages with the consistent layout. We also touched on advanced styling and best practices for accessibility and SEO. I encourage you to experiment with the design and functionality of your navbar. Tailwind CSS offers a vast variety of utilities for you to explore and customize. Try adding drop-down menus, search bars, and even a dark mode toggle to enhance your navbar further. The complete code for this tutorial is available on GitHub. You will find the link in the video description below. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or reach out directly. I'm always looking for feedback and suggestions for future tutorials, so let me know what you would like to see next. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope it helps you in your journey to becoming a more proficient web developer with Next.js and Tailwind CSS. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tutorials like this. Happy coding!